we got to go muck with the other one. Okay, so you've seen the exciting footage of me removing the bottom part of the brace from the other cab mount, which, as I've said before, as far as I know, is not available right now in the aftermarket. After the break, we're going to come back and we're going to show you how to take this down so that we can get to it and cut the nasty, cancerous section off of the floor panel of the car we're actually going to keep. Restoration of a classic Ford is a journey of discovery. Let Autocrafters help you with yours. We offer quality parts for Falcon, Fairlane, F-Series, Galaxy, Maverick, and Pinto. Contact us today. Now that that's finally died down, I am going to get my Stek out and try to knock these loose. I'm probably going to go ahead on this one here, since I know exactly where it's at. I'm going to probably try and just spot weld cut that one and then try to find the ones over here and do the same thing. On some of these, it looks like Ford did a spot weld that didn't actually take, like that one. So I got that one cleared out. Now I can just work on the big piece over here and get it out of the way as well. Now there is another method that you can do sometimes on these, and that is to actually take your cutoff wheel and grind down through that spot weld, or cut around the spot weld lightly and just take the piece of metal out and then grind the spot weld away. That's what I'm going to try here. I haven't done a lot of this, so we'll see how it turns out. The other piece was just kind of hanging on by a thread down at the bottom. Another thing I probably should not be doing is going in and actually doing this with my fingers bare without gloves on. I run the risk of getting cut. Now that this is out of the way, I can see what I've got. Somebody actually went in here and worked on this a pretty good bit. It looks like it's got some body sealer. Too bad they didn't seal the underside of the carpet where the guy put the fertilizer on top of the carpet. All right, so now I've cut the brace out of the other car, and it is marginally, it's better than what I have in this car. I've said that before, but what I've done now is I've gone in and I've marked, and I am planning on going to this line, to the low side of this line on both of these pieces. The biggest problem I have right now is I don't know how much of an angle the flat piece needs to have on it. I don't know if it's supposed to go perfectly flat this way or if it's supposed to be slightly down. It looks to me like, looking underneath the car, that it may be slightly down on some of these. That may be why they didn't get a good spot weld on it. So I'm probably going to set it up so it's sitting mostly level against that frame rail. I'm going to use my panel clamps to put it in. Sometimes on things like this I will go in and I will actually use a magnet, but a magnet's not going to hold simply because of the roll that we've got going on there. So I'm going to go in now and I'm just going to cut these apart. You'll get to see that. It'll be some cool music and all that going on. But we're going to cut those apart and then I'm going to start getting them ready to weld into position. I'll do this one first because it's not attached. The one thing I do want to say is I put these type clamps in here only to hold position to keep the piece of metal kind of where it needs to be for when we go in and do the rest of this. So what I'll do now is I'm going to go in, I'm going to put a tack probably right about there, and then I'll put another one on the other side of the hole over here, and I'm going to try to bend everything up and around so it gets a little closer to the base piece that's on the cab still. So that's my theory. Let's see what the plan looks like. That's better. Yeah. Okay, now I should be able to knock loose the stuff I've got right here and let the clamp piece fall out, or I may have to push it out. Always remember to pick those up. And then I'll take this one out. Same thing with it. Now that this is semi-set, I can come to this end and try to do the same thing on this, but push it into position a little bit better. Okay, right here we're going to be a little bit loose right here no matter what because of my poor cutting ability, but that's going to be what it's going to be. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down on this end and lay a tack in right there. Now it's just going to be a matter of me going back in and spotting all the way down. I'm going to do just what I've been doing. Because I'm dealing with cratered metal, I am probably going to have some blowouts in this because I'm using old metal. But since that piece is not available and I wouldn't want to replace the whole cab mount anyway, this should be good enough to go. All the way in. What I'm doing right there is I'm coming up against the other weld and I'm laying a tack. There's a spot that it blew out. And this is hours of fun. You can spend your entire day out here doing this kind of stuff. I'm not going to go through and show you the entire tack in. I'm going to tack it all in, and then we'll come back and close out what we've done here today. One of the things you're going to have to be real careful of on these old cars, especially if you're using parts like this and you really can't get around to the backside, it's going to get hot and you could run into a problem of actually setting the car on fire. And having a problem with that. So that's something to look into as well. Make sure when you're doing this that if you see smoke, the smoke dissipates and goes away. Other problems you can have is sometimes firewall pads or the padding up underneath the dash panel will catch on fire and you may not even see it initially. I've actually had it do that before at a friend's house and he nearly set his car on fire because we went to go get a drink, came back out, car was full of smoke. Luckily we got it put out in time. I'm going to just go weld. All right, well, that's it. The brace is welded in. I'm not going to show you every little jot and tittle of that. When you're welding these things, know that what you want to do is you want to stick the point of the wire up against your last weld to hit your next arc. That's going to give you a surface for that heat to go into, especially if you're welding on very thin metal or places where you got metal that goes from thick to thin. It just works a lot better to do that, trust me. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pan in place just to take a look at it. If I can get it in there. Yeah, better. I mean, it's not great, but it's better than it was because there was a giant hole there. So next week, we're going to start working on the fit and fiddle, cutting in, setting up. All that's going to be going on. Trying to get this thing to fit in there the way we want it to fit in there. Right now, I am not super crazy about my fit up because this panel at the front is actually sitting this way just a little bit, the replacement panel that is. So we're going to have to go in and start mucking around with that some. But that's it. Do me a favor on the That's It side of things. Go out and check out Patreon. If we've ever done anything to help you out, if our shows are making a difference in your world, just go out and do some contributions. That would be great. You know, anywhere from $1 to 10 to 20 to 50, whatever you think we do for you on a monthly basis around here, go out and check out on Patreon and throw some money in there. That money doesn't even go to me. That money goes to pay Andrew and to pay the kids on Saturdays. So we are working our way toward getting that to where it's a consistent thing. Right now, I'm betting on Andrew by putting some of our own personal money into paying him on a weekly. Not that I'm trying to get out of paying Andrew, because I am paying Andrew, but we don't want to work this like a government program to where somebody is covering the money, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to teach Andrew that you need to have the finances in line to make everything work. Capitalism at its finest. Also, subscribe to the channel. We're well on our way on our march to 100,000 subscribers. As leaves are falling off the trees, we're hoping to get 100,000 by December. If you know big channels that are willing to throw some people our direction, that would be awesome. So if you can get those guys, Cletus McFarland, Roadkill, I really don't care who it is. As long as they send some folks our way, we can drop over the top of that and you won't hear anything from me again. I'll stop talking about this completely. There'll be a little button over here, probably, maybe here or heck, maybe over there, I don't know. One of those two locations will have a button. And so you won't even have to worry about me saying this. This will be so much shorter after we get to 100,000 subscribers. Finally, folks, do me a favor, be kind to each other, love on each other, treat each other nice. You guys have a great week and we'll see you on down the road. I hate to admit how happy this makes me. My welding is improving. I have a brace welded in. I made a patch. It's like that meme where it says, I made this. It's right there. So all we gotta do now is weld it in. Go from elation to tired that quick. Bye.